Hello, my name is Kalina Petrova. I'm a graduate transport planner at WSP, and I'll present today about my experience in developing user guidance for the Department for Transport and more particularly for the DfT's Active Modes Appraisal Toolkit, or also known as the AMAT. But before I get into it, I want to explain where this Active Modes Appraisal Toolkit fits into it all. As you might already know, we do business cases to achieve 5 main goals: to ensure that the outcome of project is in line with relevant strategies and policies, to ensure that users of public services receive an efficient and effective service, to demonstrate value for money of the proposal, to ensure that projects are viable, affordable, and deliverable, and to reassure stakeholders of a proper process. Recommended by the DfT, the business case model for investment decisions is made up of five individual case elements: strategic, economic, commercial, financial, and management case. With regards to the AMAT, we're interested in the economic case. The rationale for the economic case includes 4 things: value for money assessment of the economic, environmental, social, and distributional impacts of a proposal, justification of an investment made, influence on decision making, and business development and access to funding. The Active Modes Appraisal Tool, also known as AMAT, is used as part of walking and cycling schemes for the value for money assessment of a proposal. The AMAT weights up the economics, costs, and benefits, reflecting the difference between the without scheme and with scheme cases. That is normally expressed as the benefit cost ratio, or BCR. The BCR value offers an estimate of the value of benefit generated for every £1 of public expenditure on a project or scheme. In order a project to be generating more benefits than costs, the BCR should be more than 1. The Active Mode Appraisal Toolkit, or AMAT, is a spreadsheet-based tool developed by the DfT in 2015 for the appraisal of active travel schemes such as local cycling and walking infrastructure plans, or LSWEPs. The AMAT allows scheme promoters to carry out an assessment of the overall benefits and costs of proposed walking and cycling schemes, following guidance from Transport Analysis Guidance Unit 85-1. The AMAT is designed to be consistent with UK government guidance on policy appraisal, including the Her Majesty's Treasury Green Book and DfT Transport Analysis Guidance. By quantifying the key impacts of a proposed scheme, the AMAT helps provide decision-makers with as full of a view as possible about impacts on transport users, the environment, the society, and the economy. The AMAT also provides a measure of the value for money of a proposed scheme in the form of benefit cost ratio, as said before. AMAT is an Excel-based model including the following visible worksheets: cover worksheet, which provides version control and contact details; guidance worksheet, which provides a summary of the AMAT tool, instructions for its completion and its limitations; area lookup worksheet, which enables users to identify the area type where the proposed scheme is located; user interface worksheet, which requires users to input various data about the scheme; users interface cost worksheet, which requires users to input data about the scheme's cost; and analysis of monetized costs and benefits AMCB worksheet, which reports the quantified costs and benefits of the proposed scheme and the benefit cost ratio, which is expected benefits divided by the expected costs. A number of sheets are hidden by default. These include those that detail the evidence of the assumptions and those that contain the calculations. But how exactly does the AMAT work? The user is responsible to input specific inputs in the user interface in the user interface cost worksheet. As you can see, there is quite a lot of information that needs to be input, such as you need to clarify the study area, you need to clarify the scheme details, for example, type of scheme, length and location, you need to clarify the audience or funder, you need to establish the costs, you need to select the appropriate data, you need to estimate uplift of future demand, etc. The AMAT would do its calculations to estimate the economic benefits of each route. The calculations take into account multiple factors, including absenteeism, decongestion, discounting of prices, and more. The outcome is the analysis of costs and benefits, but I'm going to go into detail about it later in this presentation. The user interface spreadsheet is broken down in several categories, namely scheme-specific information, cycling mode information, walking mode information, and default assumptions. At the top right corner on the user interface is located the key which gives guidance to the users regarding the sections where input is required. The user interface cost spreadsheet is broken down into two categories, namely scheme costs and private sector contributions. At the top right corner on the user interface cost is located again the key which gives guidance to the users regarding the sections where input is required. The values which need to be completed are the total scheme costs and the private sector contributions. The only default assumption which could be changed provided evidence is the optimism bias, which is set to 15%. The analysis of monetized costs and benefits spreadsheet presents the calculated costs and benefits related to cycling and walking. The range of potential benefits of cycling and walking schemes considered within the AMAT include mode shift, health improvements, and journey quality. The BCR is simply the present value benefits divided by the present value costs. Now, with this knowledge in mind, I'm going to give you more information about the background of the WSP's development of AMAT user guidance. In mid-2018, the DfT released the first issue of the AMAT. In 2019, a review of the AMAT by the Government Internal Audit Agency identified several potential risks and concerns with the current tool. The DfT has undertaken a number of actions to resolve these issues and ensure the robustness of the tool. One of the recommendations called for the development of appropriate supporting documentation and disclosure of models limitations. In January 2020, WSP were commissioned to develop the user guidance that enables users with limited or no technical knowledge to complete an assessment, reduces user error, and ensures consistency in its completion, and is informed by user feedback. The AMAT user guidance was published by the DfT in June 2020 as part of the next round of tag updates and will sit alongside the tool on the Transport Analysis Guidance web pages. The Department of Transport hosted an online launch event for the AMAT user guidance on Wednesday, 24th of June. The event discussed how the toolkit should be used to appraise schemes being proposed for the Emergency Active Travel Fund. The program of stakeholder engagement was an essential component in the development of the AMAT user guidance. The process has enabled to obtain feedback on the usability of the tool to better understand where specific guidance or clarity is required and to gain observations on the format of a potential user guide. The engagement program consisted of several key strands, including an online user survey issued to over 400 active travel contacts across the country, feedback from the DfT local cycling and walking infrastructure plan support program, a stakeholder workshop held in Manchester, and a program of quality assurance testing of the guidance. Stakeholders involved in the engagement process included local government authorities, consultancies, universities, and third sector organizations. Many comments have been received as part of the engagement program. However, some comments were very common, such as the tag unit A5.1 uses economist language, so too technical for users with limited proficiency. There is need of exemplar guidance, such as case studies and best practices for completion of the AMAT. The various methodology users employ to input demand makes it difficult to compare AMAT outcomes between case studies. Guidance on demand numbers, where to obtain them from, and estimating the demand with the proposed scheme would be beneficial. Provision of definitions for each walking and cycling infrastructure type, and information about the level of importance of each input on generating the benefits for the BCR. During the stakeholder engagement, some model limitations of the AMAT were also identified, such as scheme length, missing infrastructure types, multiple infrastructure types on one corridor, and use of default values. Following the newly released AMAT user guidance alongside the new AMAT version, transport economic professionals have expressed their opinions. Jeremy Clark, an economic advisor in the DfT, has said, "I'm confident this will really help local stakeholders to make the case for future spending on active travel. This new guidance will have immediate impact, and I'm grateful for WSP's swift and valuable input." Lewis Pagden, an assistant economist in the DfT, has also stated the importance of the guidance. Rachel Skinner, a UK head of transport at WSP and client director for the DfT, has accentuated the importance of the guidance in this period of time, particularly following the COVID-19 crisis. Active travel has increased in the UK for the past years, even prior to the COVID-19 crisis. Due to the current crisis, however, the DfT has established a COVID-19 Emergency Active Travel Fund in England. In summary, £2 billion have been allocated for cycling to be spent over the 5 years of this government, and £250 million of this has been brought forward for temporary measures. Therefore, increasing funding for walking and cycling scheme is set to continue. Alongside this funding, the DfT produced statutory guidance for local authorities on how to reallocate road space in response to the pandemic, with traffic signals to support social distancing. This provides a great opportunity to develop strategic walking and cycling routes, as more people are currently walking and cycling. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Now is Q&A time.